going on, guys? I'm back with the second part on how to get better at Blood Hunt, where I break down the fundamentals of improving as a player. And today we're going to be talking about my favorite point of the triangle, aiming. So I'm going to be talking about how to practice your aim, the proper ways in doing that, to build good habits. And at the end, I'm going to give my personal secret that I would give anybody that I aim coach. And the majority of people don't even know that this is a factor of how well you can aim. So with that being said, let's hop over to Aim Labs and we'll talk about aim. So we're on Aim Labs. I'm going to get into a couple things about Blood Hunt and how to aim in Blood Hunt that's going to help you increase how many shots you hit, so that way you can help actually finishing your kills. Now, right off the bat, I'm going to say this. Look at your aim in a centimeters per 360 view. You shouldn't be changing your aim based off DPI, picking a random number that then feels good. You want to have it roughly the same centimeters per 360. That's how many centimeters you move your mouse to do a full 360. So if I go to my options right now on Aim Labs, I go to controls, you can see Overwatch sensitivity 3. I'm on a 28.8 sensitivity. So for some people, they're going to have a really hard time controlling a fast sensitivity. As I move the mouse in 28 centimeters, I do a 360. So that's about half my mouse pad. I do a 360. For a lot of people, this is too fast. This will be too fast. A lot of people will not be able to keep up with this type of sensitivity. A lot of people will struggle. They'll have to move their aim really slow, because when I'm on a target on a high sensitivity, bear with me, if I move my mouse a little bit, I'm off the target. If I move it a little bit, I can easily flick and get off target. If I go to flick to a target, I can be slightly further. I can be slightly behind it. I can be past it. I'm behind it. The problem is it's hard to get in that range where you're flicking, or even when you're tracking something down, where that one little tiny jerk of the hand is going to send your aim really far on a high sense. For the majority of people, I would recommend in between the 45 to 35 range, starting off with aiming, because it is easier to do that for the average person. So I'm going to go to 43.3 Overwatch sensitivity. So when I go back, this is going to be easier, because now a little tiny jerk of the hand, that same jerk made it where I was still on the target. It makes it easier when you flick to get to the target. Your flicking becomes more controlled for people, because where I don't have to flick right here, I can flick right here. I can flick right here. I can flick a little to the side. There's more room for error on a lower sensitivity. And for people beginning learning the fundamentals of aiming, that is perfectly okay for having more room for error to make it easier for yourself. So when you're hopping in and aiming, it is okay to have a lower sensitivity. Overall, if you're playing Blood Hunt, lower your sensitivity. Figure out what your sensitivity is. If you have to, grab a block, put it on your end of your mouse pad, move it from one end of the mouse pad, move it until you hit the block. When you hit the block, go get a measuring tape, a ruler, whatever you have. See how far that is centimeter-wise. That is your centimeters per 360. In a game like Blood Hunt, I'd recommend going lower to start off. It's going to be a lot easier to track things on a lower sensitivity. Okay, so let's get into how you should properly be training your aim on Aim Labs. Not how to get scores, not how to get leaderboards, not how to get, top 100 in the last 7 days. How to get better aim. Fundamentally better aim. Now, I know what everybody's thinking. Current rank unranked, next rank bronze. Oh, this kid has no idea what he's talking about. Peep the credentials. Tracking, Grandmaster 1, top 0.1. I have multiple top 10s right now, multiple top 20 records in Aim Labs, because all I've been doing is tracking. The rest of them are all trash because I don't do any of this on Aim Labs. I primarily use Kovacs personally. I'm picking Aim Labs for this right here because Aim Labs is free, it's universal, and it does have very good scenarios to practice aiming in Blood Hunt. So now with that being said, let's get into how you should practice. Blood Hunt is a tracking-based game, so grid shot isn't going to do a whole lot for you. I know it's fun going in looking like 10s, trying to flick everything. It's not going to be great for practicing your aim. Now, it's good for fundamentals. If I were to hop into grid shot, if this is how you want to practice, you can do grid shot. But the problem is, see whatever score you can get at the end, throw it out the window. Don't care about that. Stop caring about that. I want you to focus on two things. How straight your line is from going from one target to the next every time. And when you kill a target, look at the target you want to go to next with your eyes. As in, when I kill this target, I'm as soon as I click, I'm looking at the one above it to the left. And I flick to that one. Now I'm looking at the one under, and this is what you do. And you just keep switching eye contact with each target and move slowly. This is how you want to practice it. You don't want to sit in here and start going fast like this if you can't control it. Okay, so that's how you want to practice in grid shot. But if I were to tell you how to properly practice in Blood Hunt, Switch track, motion shot are going to be some of your best friends. Why do I say that? Blood Hunt is a game where when you get to the target, you are switching to the target and then you are tracking the target. You are not switching to the target and then clicking once. You are not switching to the target and quickly beaming them and they're dead. It's a slower pace tracking because you have to hit more shots. The time to kill in Blood Hunt is relatively high. With that, a lot of mobility, a lot of different guns, just so many factors going into it where you have to be aiming at the target for a while. So just clicking once isn't good. So I recommend stuff like this motion shot. Now, I don't recommend motion shot in the casual way I say a lot of people do, where they get in front of the target and they wait. You have a lot of people that play motion shot where they click the target, they get in front, and they wait for the target to get there. So they do this. And that's great for timing and all, but it's not going to help you get aim better, or it's not going to help you aim better in Blood Hunt. No, what you want to do is click the target in the center. When the next target appears, make eye contact with that target. As you're making eye contact with that target, switch to it where the target is and then track it. You don't have to go in front of it and wait for it to get to you. Blood Hunt is a game based off tracking. You're going to be doing so much switching and tracking in Blood Hunt. You're not switching and stopping. You're not doing this. Where you're getting in front, waiting for the target to get to you. This is not how you aim in Blood Hunt. The way you aim in Blood Hunt is you're going to be switching to a target and tracking it. So if you understand, you don't even have to click them. Just do this. Score doesn't matter. We're aim training. You're not trying to get scores. We're aim training. So this is how I want you to practice. Click eye contact, track. 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 This is how I want you to practice this one. And then when you start doing that and you feel like you're doing it comfortably, start clicking them. Just like that. Very simple. Don't go fast. Don't rush yourself. See this? Don't do this. This is not good. It's not going to help you in Blood Hunt. You want to be able to track the target that you're going to shoot. In Blood Hunt, people are moving very fast. And if people are, let's say if they jump off a rooftop and they're falling, you don't want to move your aim in front of that and shoot once. That's not going to help you. Switch track is the same thing. Now, switch track adds verticality to it as well. So you're not just only doing it to low range, you have constantly you're moving up and down. So it's the same thing. Take it slow. Shoot at one target. I looked at the one above it, move to it, track. Look at the one under, track. Get used to moving your mouse slowly and controlled, because you don't want to be flicking past a target. You want to be like, okay, yeah. You don't want that. And if you're going to flick to a target, flick before the target. If I'm going to flick to this one, to the one under, flick before and then go to it. Does that make sense? Don't flick past it. You don't want to be sporadic. There's no point in that. That's wasted movement. So when you're practicing this one, same thing as motion shot. Kill one, look at the next, move it. Look at the next, move it. Look at the next, move it. Take it really slow if you need to. Now for the final map I'd recommend practicing for tracking wise, there's a great map that this game has to offer. It's terrible to play and I hate doing it because it's just uncomfortable. Like you'll understand. Your boy Arc Track. Arc Track is a nightmare for a lot of people. It's a nightmare for a lot of beginners. A lot of people struggle even hitting up to 50% accuracy on that thing. Freaks at it are getting 70s and 80s, okay? This is one of the maps I have a top 20 in. Very hard map for beginners. Very great map to do and get used to. It's going to be abuse. You're not going to enjoy it at the start. That is okay. Keep your crosshair on the target and it's going to be hard. But if you were to move your crosshair in front of the target and click, cool. Oh, someone's jumping off a roof. Oh, someone's jumping in the distance. Oh, jumping off a roof. This is not going to be good. You want to make sure you're trying to track the target. They're not going to have fun because this is what your aim is going to look like. See, I'm like going behind it and going everywhere. This is what your aim is going to look like at the start. See what I'm doing? Your aim is going to look very jittery, and that is okay starting off. The goal is you want to keep your crosshair somewhere around the target, okay? You want your crosshair to be somewhere around the target. As long as you do that, you're fine. Even though I just did a run right there and forcing my aim to be shaky, even if you're doing this, make sure you want to focus on keeping your aim still. That is the goal, obviously. But at the same time, make sure you're just staying around the target. Try to keep up with the target. You don't want to be in a position where you're doing this. Because tracking is one motion. Tracking isn't a jitter. Tracking is one smooth line gone across. So This is a really good one to practice. These are 3 maps I would tell you to practice in a game like Blood Hunt. Smooth, just follow it, see what I'm doing? It's gonna be rough, just stay next to it. That's all you have to do. You don't have to stay on top of it. Sometimes it'll get easy, sometimes it'll get hard. Just stay next to it. That's all you need to do. And that's all you had to do for that one. Those 3. So if I were to say, switch track, do this, 5 minutes. Switch track. Do motion shot, 5 minutes. And then I would do the arc track, 5 minutes. Work on your tracking. So that's how I would recommend training and practicing your aim in a game like Blood Hunt, using those tips. Looking at your target, switching right before your target and not flicking after it. Making sure that your aim is smooth and that you're always around the target. It's okay to not be on the target. Just try to make sure your aim is always close to them. You want to stay next to target, even if it's not on the target. Make sure you're within a little tiny bubble. Watch, I'll have shaky aim. Make sure you're within a little tiny bubble. Make sure I'm around it. You never want to be at a point where you're crazy far away. Because if I do this, see how like it's way harder to track now? You want to make sure you're always within a bubble. So over time, this shakiness is going to turn into smooth tracking. In time, you still have to practice it, but that's what I'd recommend. Now, I said at the beginning that I'm going to add a secret. I cannot stress how much this has changed my aim fundamentally and taken me to being how good I am now to way, way, way better. Back 2 years ago, I didn't do this. Ever since I switched to doing this, my aim is crazy shot up in how well I can aim consistently. This is something that not a lot of people talk about. When you are aiming, tracking too, it's very hard. Target switching is very hard. Don't A, squeeze your mouse. Don't B, tense your arm. These 2 things fundamentally hurt your aim. The only times that these are beneficial is very, very high precision shots at range, with something like a sniper and sometimes tracking, but not often. 2 secrets I'd recommend. Don't tense your arm. Don't squeeze your mouse. When I aim and everything I do, when people tell me I have very robotic looking aim, because I do not tense my arm. It's very bad to do that. A lot of people get in the habit where, like, watch, if I tense my arm and squeeze my mouse while I aim, my aim gets really shaky. Ready? See, like it feels forced, if that makes sense. My aim gets really shaky. Now, I'm aiming really fast because you kind of have to when you're doing this, right? But this is going to make you aim worse. When I aim, I'm going to show you how to do it smoothly. Don't squeeze your mouse. Don't tense your arm. It will make your aim a lot smoother. See what I mean? See how my aim right there doesn't look jittery? My aim doesn't look jittery when I do it. My aim is a lot smoother when everything is relaxed. Those are the 2 secrets when you're practicing. The reason why you don't want to tense is because you want it to be second nature when you're aiming. You don't want to think about it. It's meant to be smooth, fluent, loose. You're meant to be in complete control. Okay, so this is the second part to the 4-part series I'm going to do on the fundamentals, the triangle of all the things you need to work on to get better at gaming in general. So this one was off aiming. I could go on all day, but I struggled to even keep this one under 20 minutes. The first recording I had was like an hour long, and I'm just trying to make it compressed. I'm going to put my Discord in the description. If anybody wants to contact me and ask me questions specifically about aiming or how to get better at aiming or ways to improve on aiming, feel free to contact me there. I'll answer any questions. Thank you guys. I'm Kyme. Much love.